Everybody welcome Dona Sarkar, the Chief Troublemaker from Microsoft. I don't even know all your titles these days, but perhaps you will tell us soon. And you have a great topic because I was talking about this or mentioning the topic during the opening keynote as well. Rise of an AI agent manager. Sounds something like from the movie.
Yeah. So first, we're going to be hearing a lot about the agent manager this year, this fiscal year. I'll be talking about it in depth. What does the role look like? What does the steps look like? Because I'm doing a bit of research right now to see what various agent managers do. Now that I've found many agent managers, myself being one of them, many of you being some of them, but a lot of people don't actually know what an agent manager is or what the purpose is. So today we're going to talk about the why of agent managers. And the rest of the year, we're going to talk about the how of agent managers, because there will be a set of tools agent managers need, a set of job descriptions, a set of responsibilities, who they hire. And there's going to be a debut of a brand new job called the Chief Agent Officer. And who are going to be these chief agent officers? We don't know. It could be you, actually. Given that you're on this call, probably you're going to get stuck being the chief agent officer. So prepare yourself. Okay.
Right. Take it away, Donna.
Of course. Thank you. Let me share. All right. So today we're going to be talking about these figures in the world who are the guardians of the agents. Okay. Some people will call it an agent manager. You can call it guardians of the agents. You can call it anything you want right now, because this role is not, it's not very, very common in the world. So let's talk about a little bit about the state of the AI industry. So a lot of people believe that robots are going to kill us all, right? This has been an ongoing issue. They're like, oh, AI, robots, etc., are here to kill us. Now, given that we've been living with robots for, I think, 30 years and AI, generative AI for about 3 years, and it hasn't killed any of us, we can just dissuade that. So I want to share with you a thing I saw at the Seoul airport. Okay. So this was in the Korea airport, and this is the cleaning robot. This robot's only job is to sweep the floor. You can see that it's a little confused. Ignore all this background noise. It's a little confused. Look at it. It's just back and forth, back and forth. It just keeps going back and forth. And a guy had to come along and push the big old button and reset it at least 3 times in the time that I stood and watched this robot. Yes, I stood and watched this robot to see what it would do. So given that the robot can't even clean the floor, where there's no obstructions in sight, maybe robots are not going to come and clean us all. Not going to come and kill us all, right? So let's talk a little bit about what we trust AI to do, right? A lot of people right now are going out there and say, oh, I let AI do all my work, check in my code, drive my car, take my kids to school. And I say, do you? Like, is that true? So I'd like for everyone here to ask themselves a question, okay? You can answer amongst yourselves. I see chats turned off, I think. But if you want to chime in, just chime in. Would you trust AI too? Would you trust AI to recommend a product or service to you? Some of you would say yes. I would say yes. I would trust AI to recommend me a product or service, especially, we trust social media to recommend products or services, and it's up to you whether you take the recommendation or not. So I could do that. Second one, would you trust AI to keep you safe online? And this is an interesting question. We're like, just like any other recommendation engine, would you recommend it to say, hey, this looks like spam? Don't click on that. This email has a whatever. Don't click on that. Given that we've done this through automation for a while, I would likely trust AI to help keep me safe online. Third one, would you trust AI to assist you in driving? I'm like, assist me, maybe, to say, the sensors on cars that we've always had, like, hey, you're going to go crash into a wall over here, or just so you know, that guy's like really up in your blind spot, or whatever it is. I would trust AI to assist me in driving. Would I trust AI to drive me? And this is the self-driving conundrum, right? We've been saying self-driving cars are coming for the last 20 years, and they are vaguely here. Waymo, the self-driving taxis, have just arrived in Seattle. I am still weary of going and taking one, but I have learned that their controller is like 1 human to 1 car. So there's a dude somewhere in a control center, or a woman, or a person, whose job it is to observe the Waymo, and most of the time their job is to tell it, no, hit the button, keep going. Just like the person did at the airport with that cleaning robot. So Waymos are here. I'll let you know how it goes. Then it gets weird. Would you trust AI to drive your kids to school bus? Now, I have a beautiful young nephew who I love more than anything in the world. And would I trust AI to drive him? Absolutely not. No. I want an old school bus driver who's done this for a long time, who knows every path, who knows how to deal with kids. No, I will not trust AI to drive my nephew to school. Assist me in coding. Okay. Yes, of course I would. I use GitHub Copilot every day. I used it to make these slides. Write and run code on its own in production. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I believe that this is just setting us up for danger and failure because we know the AI generated code is sometimes right, sometimes not right, but it can be problematic, especially when running on its own. So when we look at these guardrails, right? Okay, here we go. The last one, detect if you're a terrorist. Would you trust AI to do that? It's a little minority report, right? I would say no. I don't think I would, because it would be like some anomaly in online behavior that would lead it to decide this, just based on a bunch of data points. So, given that we live in this world where the tech industry are pushing us to go rely on AI, like rely, 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 I believe, and most people who work in AI closely believe that we still need a human in the loop to closely monitor what AI is being used for and what the outputs are of AI. What is the impact of AI? And when we realize that we are very, very far from a human not being in the loop, things start to make a lot more sense. Okay. So I've always called it a human in the loop. That's what we in the industry call it. You need a human in the loop. You need a human in the loop. But now we're now starting to make that job something real. We're trying to formalize that job. And that job will be called an agent manager. So as AI agents are deployed in an enterprise, whether you go out and deploy them yourself or they're deployed by someone else, you will play the role of an agent manager. And as you are an agent manager, just like being a people manager, an intern manager, a vendor manager, you're going to have to keep in mind that things are going to get really, really weird. Okay. So let's just start with the weird. What are the weird things that are going to happen? First, people who work in AI are really freaking annoying. Okay. Let's all agree they can be quite annoying. AI people are being weird. So let's have a little rodeo of things people have done lately. First one, the AI startup builder in AI, they claimed that AI is building websites for people. You go in, you put in, hey, I want a website to run a fashion company in Seattle, Washington, and in 24 hours, you have a beautiful website. They're claiming AI is building this website. In fact, it was 700 engineers in India who are doing this overnight. Now, those engineers might be using AI, but AI is not building it. There's very much a human in the loop involved during this whole process. Anomaly, right? Then people are saying they're not using AI when they obviously are. So Cursor did this. They didn't have a human in the loop. They made a chatbot named Sam. They slapped it on their website. Don't do that. And of course, the AI chatbot starts doing what AI chatbots do, making things up. So Cursor chatbot Sam is going out and telling everybody, actually, you can only install it on one machine. Actually, you need a different license for a second machine, blah, 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 things that are not true. And people start canceling their subscriptions. Tons of Cursor customers start canceling their subscriptions, and the CEO had to go out there and say, stop. We apologize. We put an untested chatbot on our website. Don't do that. And we acted like it was a human. We shouldn't have done that. We didn't have a human in the loop. So you need a human in the loop to make sure things are going well. You also need a human in the loop to make sure things aren't going horribly sideways. Also, don't put an untested chatbot on your website. So when we say we need more humans in the loop, on the other side, we've got CEOs of tech companies like Anthropic, Dario Amodei, who's going out there telling everybody in the world that that AI is going to wipe out half of all entry-level jobs this year. Okay, just so you know, this went down in like May. It was not recent. So within the next year, by May of next year, apparently 50% of entry-level jobs are going to be gone. I don't think so. So let's talk about this. Um, what does it mean for an entry-level job to disappear, right? Let's talk about what that looks like. It could be devs, it could be finance people, it could be accountants. I don't think so. So Jensen Huang also chimed in, Mr. GPU, right? He's like, Dario, I think you're on drugs. He said, I disagree with almost everything you said. First, Dario believes that AI is so scary, only they should build it. Then he believes AI is so expensive, no one else should do it. And three, AI is so powerful that everyone will lose their jobs, which is why they should be the only one to build it. And Jensen says we need to build AI openly and transparency so people understand what it can do and what it absolutely cannot and should not do. And I agree with that. And even Sam Altman, of course, had to chime in. And he was openly asked, do you think AI is going to get rid of all jobs next year? And he said, no, I absolutely don't think that. Right. So let's talk about our industry, which is devs. Devs. All right. So pretty basically my entire career, I'm on year 25 of career, folks. 25. Which is why I'm very irritated at this entire statement, which is AI will get rid of dev jobs. Here we go again. Okay, AI will get rid of dev jobs. Really? Why? Why are we talking about this? Okay, my favorite topic, COBOL. Okay, I love to talk about COBOL because COBOL was invented in 1950s by Grace Hopper and friends. It was invented so business people could write their own apps because devs got tired of business people asking them to write apps. So they invented a common business-oriented language written in natural language so business people could write their own apps. So what do you think happened? Exactly what you think. Business people said, no, we don't want to write our own apps. We're doing business. You write our apps. So a whole new job category called COBOL devs were born. So great, we've got now COBOL devs. And did they disappear? Did something take COBOL devs' job? No, because in 2020, when we had that giant global pandemic, guess what? All of the unemployment sites, they ran on COBOL. And guess who we had to summon from retirement to come and fix these sites and update them and learn to scale them? COBOL devs. And do you know how old COBOL devs are? They're like 70 years old. They were very uninterested in fixing websites for unemployment sites all over the world when they're 70 years old. Okay. So they're being summoned in 2020. Even worse, the GitHub team, this Thomas, who is the former CEO of GitHub, the number one request they got was from banks and governments saying, can you help us migrate this COBOL code to something modern so we can actually update it and fix our bugs? Can GitHub Copilot do this? Can your AI thing, clicky, clicky, button, just fix it? Just do it for us. Because they believe our hype. They believe the hype, well, oh, AI will just do it for you. You don't need a human in the loop. And Thomas said, that's not how COBOL works. And that's not how code translation works. You're going to have to do a bit of a rigmarole where you have to actually sit down with the COBOL dev, translate that code into a spec, this spec into new modern code in C, Java, whatever it is. So this was still happening 2 years ago in 2023. And I just checked September 7th, 2025, when I was on Agent Contour. Are there any COBOL jobs in Seattle? There are. There are. COBOL Legacy. They're paying a big chunk of money. Tech lead, mainframe database admin, senior system analyst. These are all from mainframe and COBOL jobs. So when we think AI is going to take our jobs, like currently, they can't even take a job from 50 years ago. I'm not particularly concerned for any of us. Okay. So we've also been through this rodeo a few times, right? How many of you remember Visual Basic? Remember Visual Basic? Visual Basic was invented so business people could write their own apps by dragging and dropping stuff. And guess what happened? Business people said, no, we're doing business. You would make our drag and drop apps. Of course it did. And many of us suddenly got careers being Visual Basic devs. It was one of my first jobs, by the way. Second job, who remembers Front Page? Remember Front Page? It was invented so business people could make their own websites. And then guess what happened? Business people said, I don't want to make websites. You make our websites. So we all got stuck being front page devs. And it went on. Next decade, Power Apps was invented. So business people could make their own enterprise apps. What happened? Power Apps devs were invented because business people still don't want to write their own apps. And now we are here in 2025. AI is here to kill all of our jobs again. And I'll just check everyone and say, like, look, 1950s, we had no devs. And then we had this hit the steep exponential curve around the area of Visual Basic when all businesses started to go online and suddenly we needed more devs. And every decade since then, we've added 10 million devs. And we right now in 2025 are at around 30 million devs. So do we think we're probably going to have 40 million devs given that every company and their mother want to now have AI and digital transformation and all of the things? Yes, I think we're just going to need more devs, not less. And even people who've been around a while, a lot longer than me, like Scott Guthrie, are saying, nah, AI is not here to kill dev jobs. There's never been a better time to be a dev. And Google CEO says that as well. Okay, so AI people. Next problem. Let's talk about agents. All right, some of you had to deal with agents. I am sorry. Okay. Agents can be kind of annoying. So let's talk about 5 ways agents are annoying and why they need us to be involved. First one, AI agents agree with you. Like this comic over here is so true. Why is the scar on the left if the appendix is on the right, ChatGPT? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, your hawk-eyed brilliance saved us. Let me saw you open one more time. So kidding, but not really. AI agrees with your nonsense shenanigans more than anything, and they will agree with you no matter what. This is where we need humans in the loop to say, no, actually, this is not a good answer, and we should not go down this path. AI agents lose the plot, meaning they completely lose context of what they're supposed to be doing. They forget memory, they forget context. And that's because memory systems are really hard. If any of you build a memory manager, you know it's hard because to figure out, are you going to build one or are you going to buy one? Also in the memory, how much do you keep forever? Just the last 20 conversations relevant to the topic. What's relevant to the topic? Who knows? Memory managers are hard and agents, they're really hard because you've got multi-agent systems, memory manager for each. Complicated. Okay. AI agents don't work together. So you're going to have one agent doing your HR and one agent doing your hiring. They don't talk to each other. They don't share the same data. They don't know how to pass data. You can't MCP that. You have to get these agents working together. It's harder than getting people to work together. Testing AI agents is hard. How are you going to do that? You're going to try to get the same value return back every time? No. What does test cases look like? Is this a success case? What does failure look like? Testing it? Whole new beast. And then agents are different every single time. So you can't just teach someone else or teach an agent to test itself. So these 5 reasons and many others, agents are really hard and really annoying. And because of that, we need to be actively involved, babysitting and micromanaging them. So let's talk a little bit about coding agents, right? People are saying, oh, I have a coding agent, works great. Coding agents actually are shockingly good. And the reason coding agents work well is 3 reasons, many reasons, but these are the 3 I've noticed. First one, your data is vaguely in one place, okay? If you're writing and running code, probably your data is in a repo somewhere. Your code is in a repo. It's not on like that guy's SharePoint over here on a OneDrive and this Excel spreadsheet I have on my desktop. No, your agents have to be in a repo because that's how code runs. So your data is vaguely in one place and it's vaguely up to date. Otherwise, your code makes no sense. So your data is up in one place and up to date. That is not true for your finance data. That is not true for your legal data or HR data. HR data is across 10 different databases and you're trying to corral them all together. And is it up to date? Who knows? Your websites on your company's website, all of the pages, are they up to date? Probably not, right? And the third one, reason the coding agents work is these agents are doing a very niche activity that is overseen by an expert. Generally, devs use coding agents. Random people on the street don't. So devs are able to say, this doesn't work and it's never going to work because people who know what they're doing are the ones who should be agent managers. All right. So let's talk about these issues. 5 things companies say to me all the time and 5 responses I get back. They're like, we need to do AI. I'm like, oh no, we need to do AI. I'm sure all of you have heard this. And I say, what is your use case? They're like, I don't know. We just need to do AI. We need to show traction in AI. CEO told everyone we're doing AI. I'm like, okay. So because you haven't identified a useful and relevant use case, and then now you're randomly deploying an LLM or a copilot of some sort to your finance team without a plan, that's why your AI project is going to fail. Okay, first, you're not ready because you haven't prepped your data, trained your team, nothing. And 2, AI doesn't do half the things you think it does, right? We're buying into the hype. So we don't fully understand the problem or what AI can do before you start jamming in AI agents into your business. Second one, your data is your problem. Okay. So some people are like, cool, I want to do AI. So I got my data in order. Look, all my data is in SharePoint. We have permissions. They have permissions. We're going to co-pilot this. Cool. This is great news. And then a month later, your data is not in order anymore. Why? Because you thought it was like cleaning your house. You thought it was like, or going to the gym. You think, okay, I did it one time. Now I'm done. I can be done now. No, you're never done. You have to get clean, stay clean, keeping your data in order, getting your data in order, keeping it in order. You have to do it forever, forever. This is the most important part of your business. Without that, you don't even using the right information to make business decisions. So definitely your AI. Third part, you're trying to measure ROI, right? Everyone's like, I need to measure ROI, ROI. I'm like, okay, wonderful news about your, tell me about your ROI. And people are like, oh, it's hours saved. I'm like, hours saved? That's the ROI? When you introduced the internet, you thought about hours saved? No, you thought about what you can do today that was impossible before. So what I do is I break up my AI projects into three categories. Okay. First one are like easy wins. Like, cool. We have notes for the meeting. No one needs to do this. You can recap this entire presentation so you know what I talked about. Second one, current problems that are annoying but are impacting your business. So, who are the top customers for your sales team to go after? What are the top bugs that your dev should be fixing this week? What is the first set of communication that this salesperson should send to that customer? What are the first round of attempting to fix this bug, and is it a good fix? These are things that are annoying, but can help you as an assistant, a good assistant. And the third problems are things that were impossible to do before. This would be like, how do you migrate a code base from here to there in less than a decade? We did this. At Microsoft, Windows, right? Operating system that I worked on, gave 16 years of my life to this product. It was in C++, COM-based C++. That's what I studied. That's what I coded in. And we migrated to Rust for security reasons a few years ago. Are all of us Rust experts? No. Even if we were, do you know how long it would take to migrate Windows, which is millions of lines of code, to Rust? Windows takes 36 hours to compile, so think about that. It would have taken the rest of our lives, probably the rest of your life too. So we used GitHub Copilot. First, we made a GitHub repo and used GitHub Copilot to migrate. This would not have been possible without AI. Absolutely not. It would have been an impossible problem. So the fourth thing people are trying to, your AI is trying to do too many things. Okay. Everyone is like, oh, I want an AI agent that does my job for me. Like, do you know how many parts there are to your job? Your job, my job, for example, is write code, test it, deploy it, see if it worked, talk to these customers, talk to those customers, yell at this product team, wave my hands over here. Your job, if you write down what your job is, there's probably 100 different tasks. Instead of getting AI to do all of those tasks, find a workflow. I tell people, find workflow. Something like, cool, I need to write a keynote for the AI Native Summit. Help me write one based on the theme of the website, on a topic that I've been talking about lately, and write me a talk track. That is how I came up with the talk track for this. Did I make my own slides? Yes, you can tell because these are not very good. Okay, so what you do, you choose one workflow, you fix the bugs in the manual workflow, okay? Because a lot of people are trying to AI something with lots of bugs in the workflow. Data's not in order, etc. Then you get the data current for that workflow, automate the workflow. This is how you apply AI, and then put guardrails on it. So I say pull information from the native website, the AI native workspace website, and these presentations I've given lately and come up with a new talk track. Do I now go publish this on, the internet and say, hey, everyone, look at my talk? No, I review it and I say, this is a terrible talk track. Let me fix up a few things here and there, right? So one workflow at a time. The fifth thing, getting people to change is hard. Everyone's like, oh, we deployed Copilot, no one's using it. Right, because they've been using another tool all this time, which is manual labor. It takes a long time. This is iterations, not zero shot. You need to set up a proper adoption program in your company that involves people doing it gradually as part of their regular workflow. It's not going to happen overnight by itself. Okay, so leaders, AI adoption. Let's talk about it. It's actually your problem. Okay, AI adoption has to be top down. It cannot be a grassroots project. You cannot assign it to the new person. Every C-suite member must have an AI adopt or build metric and say, we're going to adopt Microsoft Copilot by 95% of people in the work, or we're going to build this thing, it's going to be used by everybody. AI leaders, C-suite, you need demo days every 2 weeks. You go first. You have to demo your AI use case. You need to make sure there's an internal prompt library where you share your specific prompts. For each business unit, you need a prompt library. And then you need to dole out rewards for best AI usage. The reason people are not adopting AI is not because they're not using it. It's because they're scared to be seen as using it. So many people feel like they're going to be seen as incompetent or replaceable. So it's so important for people to realize it's actually part of your job. And the only way to do that is by leaders showing it. So 3. Let's talk about agents actually, and this agent manager job that we all have to be doing. So people are sick of hearing about AI. I show this slide a lot because we're still so annoying. We keep talking about it. We keep jamming it into places it does not belong, right? And we're on an AI Eras tour. I've been on this AI Eras tour now 3.5 years. And I worked with predictive AI for a long time, 25 years. Then we're working with generative AI, which is ChatGPT and Friends, Copilot. And then now we're in this agentic AI era. Now, agentic AI, things are getting wild because a lot of people think they're doing autonomous AI agents, but actually they're not. They're doing what I call sparkling automation or agents light. So let's talk a little bit about sparkling automation. Okay, sparkling automation is not this. Doing a call to OpenAI and sending an email. That's not autonomous AI agents. You are very much in the loop. It is just doing automation. This is sparkling automation. You can do my gesture, sparkling automation. Okay. So let's talk about what is an AI agent, okay, properly. AI agent is a call to a large language model or a small language model of some sort with instructions, clear instructions. You are a friendly assistant called PizzaBot helping customers place pizza orders. That's it. That's all you do. You don't also drive the truck. You don't also order like spaceships from Mars. You do one thing, that is order pizza. And the third thing is you have tools. Okay, what is tools? Retrieval, I'm going to get data from over here. Top pizza orders in Washington State are these. Actions, I can actually hit a button and take payments. And the third one is you've got memory. You can say, hello, Donna, I see last time you were here, you ordered a jalapeno pizza. Would you like another jalapeno pizza? That seems useful. This is an agent, okay? This is an agent, not sparkling automation. Now, we do a whole demo at AgentCon where we attempt to get this agent to order a Hawaiian pizza and it throws a fit. We need a human in the loop to free it from the fit that it's throwing. Okay, so I have this nifty little table of what is a automation versus sparkling automation versus AI agents. I recommend you screenshot this because at some point you're going to have to get into a fight with somebody when they're like, I'm doing AI agents. You're like, no, you're doing sparkling automation. Okay, so some examples, I'll drop you some examples. Automation is, I run a fashion company called Prima Donna. If I want to store all the emails of my customers who send out a request or question to me, I want to store their emails into a database. That's just automation. If this, then that, done. Sparkling automation would be like, I want to store the emails of these customers who reach out to me, and then I want to draft an email to people with an answer to their question. Draft, not send. And that was a job for LLMs because I'm not always sure what the question will look like. But I want to draft an answer and then I want to review them to check for hallucinations to see how many things are wrong. Autonomous AI agent would be weird, right? It would do something like, let me go troll a bunch of forums on Facebook, Reddit, etc., find potential customers, store their info into a leads database, and then draft emails to them on an offer we may have for them. Now, there's a lot of parts to this. And my autonomous agent would send them that email. Would I trust an autonomous agent to run my business, my customer service? No, I would not do that. AI autonomous agents are not ready for this. We need to be very much human in the loop and be somewhere here between sparkling automation and AI agents. Okay. So when we need this part, human in the loop, we need it because we set the goal, but AI chooses its path. So we need to babysit it much more closely. Okay. I want to show you this. This is funny. Okay. Most people do not know how to do regular automation with human in the loop, much less sparkling automation or AI agents. I want to show you this email. This is a made-up person, by the way. This person does not exist. Menyalan Kolansi. They existed on LinkedIn. I called them on it, and their profile disappeared. My name is Menyalan from the Meridian Group. I want to reach out as a group. We wanted to acquire Microsoft. Would it be worth the conversation? Let me know, and we can jump on a call. And I say, you want to acquire a $4 trillion company? And then they promptly disappeared. And more importantly, why are you reaching out to me? Does it look like I have the ability to sell Microsoft? It's very funny. So that happened. But reminder, I put the slide up a lot for a reason. We're at the car phone era of AI agents. Okay, if we're looking at phones as a benchmark, the first mobile phones used to drive up to it, call from a payphone. Second one, we used to have those expensive car phones. Third, we had Nokia flip phone. Four, we had app stores. We're not at the app store era, kids. Like, no, we're very much at the car phone era. They're expensive. We don't quite know what to use them for. They're used really good in one scenario, which is coding agents. Okay, so let's talk about AI Copilot's agents at Microsoft. I'm sure everyone else is going to cover these, so I'm not going to go into it too much. First of all, we apologize for jamming agents into every single product you use. I know they're really in your business. I was trying to write something the other day. It's like, hi, try this. Hi, try this. Have you tried an Excel? What about this? What about that? I'm like, stop. Boy, I'll summon you. My agents are trying to help you. We haven't reached the right boundary of agents prompting you and you prompting agents. Again, we need human in the loop to be like, go agent. We don't need you yet. Okay. So Microsoft products, let's talk about this. Adopt agents out of the box. You can build your own agent or you can spy on research projects. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about agents you can adopt out of the box. This conference, you're going to hear a lot about the Microsoft Copilot agents in store, et cetera, et cetera. Go try them if you haven't. I love Researcher Agent, super good, but they do create some long documents that you need to review and trim. Okay, my favorite agent is GitHub Copilot agent mode. Okay, for any of you who write code or are thinking about writing code or migrating code or understanding code, go try it. It is a cool agent. It actually works. It generates you a thing from scratch. It can generate you something based on a repo you already have. It can help you fix bugs. It can write test cases. It can do so many good things. I really, really like this agent. I think it's quite good. Third one, Power Platform people quite like this. The Power Platform Plan Designer. It's good for a demo, right? It's good to generate demo tables. It's good to write a bunch of automation. It's good to build a bunch of apps. I don't think I would use it to build my whole solution end to end and ship it, but I would use it to get me started, to give me at least a framework for what I need to build and then update them to make them not look so power appy. Okay, third part, Dynamics 365. Many of your Dynamics people, we've got agents into almost all of the Dynamics products. The BC agent actually is really helpful. I use it to write copy for various inventory that I have. So I'll upload some inventory. It'll create some really nice copy. The customer CE marketing one, whatever, that one does it as well. Okay, so building agents. Copilot Studio. I don't know what these things are called anymore. Okay, there's plugins, connectors, actions, triggers. I think they're all called tools now, whatever it is. Copilot Studio is actually multi-agent, okay? Because every one of those little, what are they called? I call them agentlets. They're not called that. They're called, I think they're actually called tools. Each one of those is actually an agent doing something on your behalf. So you say, I want to build an agent that helps me do inventory for my business. One will be like, I count things. One will be like, I put them on a website. One will be like, I write copy. So each one of those is a little agent, and Copilot Studio does that for you. So it's the first multi-agent thing that's actually out there from Microsoft that's quite helpful. I would recommend you start with this first before going to my product, the space I work in nowadays, which is Azure AI Foundry. So Azure AI Foundry is very much your pro dev tool to build agents. It's got all of the stuff in the box. Azure AI model catalog. You can have search to go and search within your data and files, etc. Azure AI Agent Service to go do a multi-agent setup, and you've got content safety. You can dial up or dial down, whatever it is. You definitely want to have a bit of a clue before you start doing this. A lot of people ask me, when do I use Copilot Studio versus Foundry? I think Copilot Studio is really good if you want to build something conversational, right? So if you want to build a conversational experience that has a bunch of plugins and connectors, you need to get external data in. Copilot Studio is really good for this, especially if you want to jam it into something that lives, if you want to build an agent that lives somewhere else. So in Teams, on your website, Facebook, whatever it is, you can jam your Copilot Studio agent. And you've got enterprise guardrails baked in. Azure AI Foundry, it's a lot more, go ahead and run in traffic. You should know what you're doing. So before you build an Azure AI Foundry agent and publish it on your website, you should make sure you check where that data is stored, who has access to it, what this agent can do, etc. So you need a lot more guardrails and a lot more testing. More human in the loop for Azure AI Foundry, less human in the loop for Copilot Studio, because Microsoft do a lot of it for you. Okay, so summary, there's no one agent to rule them all. Okay, a lot of people are like, which agent should I use? It depends. It depends. If your company is no code, inbox agents. If they're low medium code, Power Platform Plan Designer. High code, GitHub Copilot. Same thing for build. There's an agent for everyone. This is just a small set. We've got 65 agents at Microsoft. There's an agent for everyone. Okay, so What does this mean for you? What does this mean for you? This is the most important question, right? So AI engineer. There's a conference called AI engineer. It's the most sought after job in tech right now. We cannot hire enough. No one can hire enough. These are those obscene salaries you see out there, right? They're the intersection of a full stack engineer and a machine learning expert. You don't need to be like the foremost expert in training models in the world. But you do need to be able to do things like, DevOps, CI/CD, build a reactive UX, figure out event-driven architecture. You need to know prompt engineering, and you do need to know how to do agent chaining. So figure out, you build an agent chain with this agent, chain with that agent. If you can do these things, you're going to be in very high demand right now and forever. As you can see, what these companies are all trying to do, people are not having a lot of success putting agents in production because they don't have talent, right? They don't have the right agent managers. So here's how you start to become an agent manager, okay? You need to learn this set of skills, not all of them. I'm not even learning to train models. I learned and I was deeply sorry. So I'm more focusing on everything down, evaluations, prompt engineering, et cetera, et cetera. You don't need to read every paper. It'll drive you crazy. So new job alert, okay? It's a high paying job called forward deployed engineer, deployed, not deployment, sorry. You'll see a bunch of companies hiring these. This was a job created by Palantir originally a long time ago. And then now every company's kind of stolen that title and is using it. It's called FDE, Forward Deploy Engineer. Terrible title, but basically what it means, this is for Copilot Studio, by the way, but Azure AI have them. A lot of teams have them. And go look at other companies. Salesforce have them. Basically, every company's trying to hire forward deploy engineers. The big goal is you're going to engage with one strategic customer at a time, co-develop and co-design and co-develop their first agent. You're not going to go work with 30 customers. You're going to deeply embed in one company. You're going to be part of their team. You're going to be part of their thought leadership, their design, their development, and production. You're going to help deploy to the right people. Now you're going to be playing the role of like engineer of a manager, a product manager, a dev, and an IT person, all of those. And this is very much agent managing because you're probably going to be having to manage agents to do all this work with you and for you. Okay. So get ready for this forward deployed engineer job title. Okay. How do you become one? Everyone's like, Donna, how do you become one? Three parts. One, you need a go-to set of AI tools. You need a studio of some sort. I don't actually care what the studio is. It could be Foundry, it could be Gemini, it could be OpenAI. Don't care what your studio is. Choose a studio and live in it. You need a good set of LLMs, language models, doesn't matter, small language model or large language model that you like. Orchestrator. So figure out how your code is going to run. Are you going to use something like LangChain? Are you going to build your own? What's your plan? Data pipelines. Where do you get data from? Where do you push data to? What does permissions look like? And then those action tools. So retrieval, search, do I have write permissions? Do I read permissions? Do I have memory? Do I have context? So you need a good set of AI tools that you can whip out and deploy whenever you get summoned for a job. Second, you need a favorite AI code editor. Everyone will expect developers and makers to have a set of code tools, okay? So what do those code tools look like? This will be something like GitHub Copilot, which is my favorite. A lot of people like Cursor. A lot of people like Cloud Code. This rotates every day, okay? There's things du jour. There was Windsurf. Now Windsurf's melted into Devin. What happened to Devin? Who knows, right? It doesn't matter. But you need a favorite AI code editor that you know how to use very well. You know what they say, the best car is the car you know how to drive. It's like that. And then there's user empathy. This is a new skill for many, many technical people. It's a new skill for me because you actually have to spend a lot of time with the customer going and talking to them about what are you trying to do? Again, human in the loop, right? Human in the loop. You have to go infiltrate them at the beginning and say, what problem are you trying to solve? What does good look like? And is AI the solution? Often my job is to go out there and say, this is a job for automation. They're like, oh, but I want to use Gen AI. I'm like, it's for job for automation. Sometimes it's automation. Sometimes it's traditional automation, like old school machine learning, dog, cat, dog, cat, dog. And sometimes it's generative AI, and sometimes it's agents. It's not always agents. A lot of people think the answers to everything is agents. Most of the time, not agents. Maybe just 1/4 of the time it's agents. So those are the three things that you need to develop. Once you do it, you need to document your AI usage, okay? So this is a developer's AI usage. This is my AI usage. Requirement gathering, designing, building. Where do I use AI? I have to figure out where I use AI to even augment myself so I can figure out where AI can be used to augment others. And many of these times I tried it and I say, wow, AI was quite terrible. So I had to rethink what I was doing and really lean into saying, actually, this is a human activity, this AI activity, human activity, AI activity. You need to define the human in the loop for yourself before you can do it for others. And by the way, that's not the end of my workflow. Testing code, documenting code, maintaining code, the whole workflow. Okay. Write down a whole workflow, figure out where the AI parts of it, write it down and share with people like you, because that's how you truly learn the power of the tools. All right. Next thing, robots are coming. I know. I'm so excited, folks. I'm really excited. Niche robots, though. I was talking to this guy who works at UC Berkeley, heading up their robotics division. He said the best robots right now are niche robots. And that's true for AI in general and agents, niche robots. So this robot, all it does is stack stuff. That's all. Throw a bunch of boxes in a pile, the robot goes Jenga. All the robot does is Jenga. And this robot, because all its laser focus on is boxes in a factory somewhere, it was able to get the accuracy of box stacking from 35% to 90%. So in various Amazon warehouses, yes, you're going to have these robots stacking boxes. Do you know how many humans do that? They don't like to do it. It's a humongous pain. So this robot's doing it. Figure out how to safely pull in external data. Okay, guardrails, governance. Everyone is kind of freewheeling this one. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pull in data from here. Like, is that data source secure? What if it has malicious data? Are you sure you want that in your business? They're like, oh no, I didn't think about that. And what about writing data? I'm just going to MCP that. We're like, you're just going to MCP that. Oh, okay, cool. You know, MCP just takes all of your plugins and connectors and puts them in a box, and all of the security and guardrails you still have to figure out before you just MCP that. So make sure you don't have write permission to a database that you shouldn't be overwriting, for example, right? So these are all things that we need to think about, old school software engineering, right? And then the fourth thing, this is really important. We have to be extra human in the AI verse. All right, extra human. This is our special sauce. This morning, I just published something on LinkedIn about Cobalt. I'm learning Cobalt, of course I am. And I get two responses on Twitter, actually, both of them AI generated. And they're such nonsense responses. And I'm like, immediately, I don't have a good feeling about that person. I don't even think that person's real because they can't even bother to just ignore, first of all. And second, they have to come up with an AI response. Better than an AI response is no response. Just don't do it. YouTube is already now going to pay for only real voices and original content. They already started in July 15th. So if you're making an AI generated YouTube channel, you're going to make no money from it and people are not going to like your channel. So don't do stuff like this. This happened to me on LinkedIn a few months ago. I gave a talk and these people both immediately generated an AI recap, which, by the way, these were wrong. These were not the key takeaways. I actually didn't talk about any of these. And other than the title being correct, these were just not what I talked about. So then I automatically didn't have a very good feeling about these two people. I'm like, I think you completely misunderstood the point of this talk, the fact that you're AI generating your LinkedIn posts. So there's always homework, folks. There's always homework. And today's is a gift. I would actually love for some of you to get started with Azure AI Foundry or Copilot Studio, but Azure AI Foundry, I have some tokens for you. Every single one of you is an agent manager either today or you're going to be in the future. These are just a bunch of thoughts for you to keep in mind. Keep in mind that over the course of the next year, we're going to be starting to give you a lot of tools on what you can use to actually manage the agents. A lot of workflows, formulas, what does the job description look like? What does success look like? What does a good benchmark look like? But start getting into the mindset of being an agent manager. You're all agent managers now. And I'd love for everyone who wants to go try out Azure AI Agent Service for free. So what you do is scan this QR code right here with your phone, and it's going to drop you into my team's Discord. We've got a Discord where our entire team hangs out at answering questions. Post a photo, a screenshot of the sparkling automation thing if you want, into the channel called AgentCon. We've made this channel pretty much just for me and my colleagues to go and give talks to all of you. Post a photo with the hashtag #TryFoundryAgents, and then you're going to see something in your DMs where you're going to get a bunch of tokens to try out Azure AI Agent Service. All right. Thank you very much to all of you for joining me. And thank you to Vesa and all of you organizers for having this event. Having an event is a very human in the loop activity. And I really, really appreciate all the wisdom you're sharing with everyone. Thank you.